Anytime you go down to the Justice Center right now, who you going to see? Who you going to see? Who you going to see? You know what they're doing? They're taking our money through traffic. They're taking our... They're locking our sisters up. All in the name of justice. To me, what affects our lives most is judges. That's right. Because I bet each and every one of you all right now, most of you all, every time you get some money in your pocket, some kind of way a judge get it out, whether it's in traffic court or whatever kind of court. And I guarantee you right now that as I stand here, most of you all have someone in the penitentiary. Or most of you all have someone in jail. Free Art McCoy!
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 I thank each and every one of you all for coming out. Each and every one of you all for coming out. This is a movement. Yes. Black on Black headquarters is right inside of McCall. This is a movement that we're starting. We got a lot of work to do. Before I get off this mic, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Brother Hicks because I didn't see him at first. Come here, Brother Hicks. Brother Hicks, I missed him in the crowd. Brother Hicks, this is another case. This is another case that we're dealing with. You see the people out here with those T-shirts on say, "Free Joaquin Hicks." Free Joaquin Hicks. This is a tragic story of his son being framed, sent to the penitentiary for over 60 years. Now, it would take me a half an hour to break this story down to you just like it is. And I'm going to ask Brother Hicks to break it down in 3 minutes. And I know he can.
Hold them signs up. There you go. Hey, Joaquin got found guilty of a murder in Perk Park. Joaquin was not at Perk Park. He's never been to Perk Park. He don't know nothing about Perk Park. At the time when this happened, Joaquin had just come home from the penitentiary. He had just served 10 years in the penitentiary, and while he was in the penitentiary, his mother died. And when she died, she left him over $20,000. So by Joaquin coming home, and he got $20,000 in his pocket, and he's been gone for 10 years, he was kind of hesitant about going out. Well, what the court system did, what the prosecutors and the judge and all those people down there did, was they took Joaquin out of his house. Joaquin was at home with over a dozen witnesses that testified in open court that he was at home. Well, they formulated a story where they took Joaquin out the house, put him down at Perk Park, made him involved in a murder where the boys that really perpetrated the crime had already turned themselves in. Now, what made this such a travesty was that during Joaquin's trial, he had witnesses that was against him, and the witnesses that was against him were the same boys that perpetrated the murder. And so, with their testimony against Joaquin, they got reduced sentences. And so, consequently, the guys that testified against him also, before they testified against him, also made statements that they never knew Joaquin. Well, during the trial of Joaquin, they had the a bartender or the waitress who works at Scorchers. She testified and told in open court that she never knew Joaquin. She never saw him. She also testified and said that the guy that was supposed to have been Joaquin was a guy she knew. And it wasn't Joaquin. It was a guy that frequented Scorcher. As I said before, Joaquin had just been out of jail for 2 days. So if this guy that frequents Scorchers was known to the waitress, that meant that he had to have been frequenting that establishment well before Joaquin was even out of the penitentiary. Well, they also said in that case that the guy that Joaquin was supposed to have been was supposedly been drinking and smoking weed and smoking and drinking and getting high. Well, it just by Joaquin getting out on a Thursday, the crime happened on a Saturday night. By him getting out on a Thursday, his first duty when he came home was to report to his parole officer. He reported to his parole officer that Monday, less than 24 hours after that crime had happened. But when he reported to his parole officer, they took the urinalysis test. He had to drop urine. His urine came back clean. They showed that in open court. We brought the parole officer in court to testify to that. Well, what I'm getting at is that with all the preponderance of the evidence that Joaquin had to show his innocence, somehow or the other they came back with a guilty verdict. I'm not going to say how they came back with a guilty verdict because I wasn't in the room. But they came back with a guilty verdict that reasonable people couldn't have possibly came back with. And they said that because of the fact that they didn't believe the evidence of the defense is the reason why they came. That was the judge's reason. But he said that the jury didn't believe the evidence of the defense. And so we asked why. They didn't believe it. Because everybody that we put on the stand was law-abiding citizens. They was working in their job 7 years or more. And he said the reason they didn't believe him was because their testimonies was too consistent. And so, like, it stands to reason that if a person is innocent, it shouldn't be a reason. He don't have a reason for the testimonies that's coming in to alter. So they tell him they sentenced my son to 61 years, to over 61 years to life in jail because of the fact that the consistency of the testimonies and the consistency that the urinalysis that came back was probably tainted. Well, that's what they say, that the urinalysis test was probably wrong. And so, like, that's about it. I was just giving y'all the update of how it went down. Here you go.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something right now. We again, black on black is not gonna rest until we get Joaquin Hicks sent home. It's gonna be another victory. It's gonna be a hard fight, but it's a winnable fight, and we're gonna win. No doubt about it.